Communist cackling Kamala Harris does a town hall the other day. She doesn't allow the audience to ask her any questions. Isn't that a point of a town hall? To ask questions? But this is what you get when you're dealing with a true, believing, and living communist like Kamala Harris. I love Sky News in Australia. They are the best news station on television. And yes, that includes Fox News. They are better than Fox News. They stick to the facts, the truth. They tear apart Democrats and communists all the time for their garbage ways, and they do it in a funny way. I'm not a fan of Greg Gutfeld at all. I think he's a worm, a weasel. I love Hannity, but I think Gutfeld does a terrible job, and he's the big go-to at Fox News on the nighttime show. Not a fan at all, but I'm a huge fan of Sky News in Australia, so let's jump right in.
She's absolutely terrible without an auto cue, and this was made painfully obvious at a town hall meeting recently, where we all know the point of a town hall is to get questions from the audience. It's a very one-on-one experience. People are supposed to feel like, oh, I'm getting to know this person, and they're so accessible. This is marvelous. Well, check out what the audience was told when one of them asked, when do we get to ask questions of Kamala?
You're not, unfortunately. We have some predetermined questions. And
Maria Shriver's not even embarrassed by that. No wonder why Arnold wanted a divorce, you little communist. You don't take the mic and put your own input in. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. This is a free country with free Americans who want to get to know Kamala Harris, and you're not even allowed to ask her a question? So, Maria Shriver, you think that's okay? Really?
hopefully I'll be able to ask some of the questions that might be in your head. I hope so.
You're just here to shut up and listen to pre-planned questions that she's been given in advance, and her team have prepared answers for her. Well, much like Kel said, I don't think she'd read the brief, because this town hall was an absolute schmozzle of word salad after word salad. Here's one short, painful clip for your delectation and delight.
We cannot despair.
Oh, God.
We cannot despair. You know, the nature of a democracy is such that I think there's a duality. On the one hand, there's an incredible strength when our democracy is intact, an incredible strength in what it does to protect the freedoms and rights of its people. Oh, there's great strength in that. And it is very fragile. It is only as strong as our willingness to fight for it.
What are you saying? What are you talking about? Do you even know, lady? This was so painful, Kel. I watched more than that, and I was spoiled for choice in picking a clip to play tonight to demonstrate just how bad she is when she's not reading off an auto cue.
She's actually trying to do what are called platitudes. That is really nice sounding phrases that like motherhood and apple pie, and everyone will just nod their heads. Ah, yes, 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 they're nice. So she's trying to do platypudes.
Platitudes.
Platypuses, something like that. She's trying to come out with nice platitudes that everyone will agree with, but she mangles them. She can't make it coherent. The sentence starts over here, wanders up there, goes down there a bit, and then doesn't reach a conclusion.
And it's so painful to watch Liz Cheney's face throughout this whole thing. She's just like, this woman would fail finger painting.
That's right.
I can't stomach this.
It's like when Ben Affleck saw Batman versus Superman for the first time and just thought, oh, what have I done? What have I gotten involved with?
I'm sure Kamala's team would have her stick to the things that she's good at, like this.
One Nation Under a Groove by Funkadelic. One nation under a groove, getting down just for the funk of it. Can I get it on the...
Keep laughing.
Just unbelievable.
The world right now is up in flames. We're on the verge of World War III. It's $5 a gallon for gas. A steak is $40. Your electricity bill is through the roof. We have an invasion at the border. And this is what we get. Kamala Harris, funk groove, whatever the hell she just sung, cackling away after 19 martinis. She's the most incompetent. Her and Alexandria Cortez are probably the two stupidest people in all of politics. They're close. I can't say which one is dumber, which one is more incompetent, but they're right there.
Laughing.
She's like
laughing. That's what you can do. That's what she's good at.
she's like black female Stephen Miles.
True.
She does all these ridiculous stuff.
Giggles
laughs at herself in the hope that then everyone else will laugh and find
Just
it.
get the
So
vibe.
yeah, we're having fun, aren't we? We're
So
really
pathetic.
it's just so terrible. And the Dems have just got to fix this, or they will never win another election ever again.
Like, this is Kamala's fake way of acting like, she's from a middle-class background and she's cool Kamala. It's all an act. She comes from a rich Irish family that owned and traded slaves. If you don't believe me, go to Candace Owens' page. She does like a 2-hour background investigation into who and where Kamala Harris is from and where her family is from. This is all an act because she thinks, the communist thinks, that the majority of her voters are dumb.
The idea that you could have this person running for president in the middle of a cost of living crisis in the US, where you've got Rust Belt, Steel Belt, blue collar workers who have turned from Barack Obama to Donald Trump. And now there's been this sort of bloodless palace coup to put her in as the candidate who is going to save America, quote unquote, from Donald Trump Mark II. And it's this, or it's the word salad. You see, it's democracy, and we have to fight for those.
But your point, Joe, is really good. I think it's damaging the Democrat brand. It must be. Firstly, the Democrats lied and claimed that...
What brand? A total joke? A total joke. Think about this. I'm not an RFK fan because he's radical too. RFK probably would have beat Donald Trump. He probably would have won. I know Rogan would have backed him, so he got all the independents. Democrats are so corrupt, so hateful, and so... What it is behind the scenes is Barack Obama and Nancy Pelosi run everything. So, if they put RFK in, or they let him run and he wins, RFK is not going to listen to those two idiot criminal communists. He's not going to listen. So they have to go with Kamala, because if she gets in, she's just a figurehead, and meanwhile, Barry Soetoro and Nancy the Gangster Pelosi are running everything. So that's why... What brand do Democrats have other than being a complete incompetent joke? They're a joke. It's a joke. It's a complete joke. All you have to do is look at the price of everything. Disaster, joke, incompetent. This is their whole campaign. Orange man bad. Orange man racist. Orange man bad. Orange man racist. That's it. They cannot answer a single question on policy.
There was a perfectly mentally capable person in the White House when they knew perfectly well they had a demented old man in the White House who couldn't do the job.
Oh, yeah. And let's not forget corrupt Joe Biden, who's been corrupt for 50 years. Him and his lowlife kid, who's a human trafficker and a pedophile. So let's not forget those two. Selling the country out to all of our enemies. The man doesn't even know his own name, where he is, or not to go to the bathroom in his pants. But for months, you heard from Kamala, Snappy Joe, he's the best I've ever seen him. He runs circles around me. You know what? That's the first thing she said that is true. As incompetent as Joe Biden is, he still runs circles around Kamala.
Job and couldn't really understand the English language much anymore. So they lied about that for 3 years. And then when people finally tumbled to it because of the famous debate with Donald Trump, then they stuck this woman in front of us, this giggling, shallow, I sometimes keep wondering what's wrong with Kamala Harris. There's got to be something wrong. And Babylon Bee is a famous satirical website. And their answer to what's wrong with her goes like this. There was a time when she did a DNA test because is she really Indian or really black? So she did a DNA test and it came back mostly vodka. and her staff were really surprised because they expected some gin in there. So there's got to be something wrong. You just can't understand how someone can be this bad running for president.
Well, the thing was, before Joe Biden's brain turned to porridge, he was actually a capable political operator, and he did have connections with like grassroots kind of normal people. Like he did actually, you know, maybe not to all the places he remembered, but he did ride the train. He did talk to people. But there's, I think there's this sense that Kamala Harris, like the most humble thing she can say about herself is that she grew up in a middle class family with a nice lawn.
Don't we know it?
Like if that's as log cabin as you can get, you are an elite. You are a West Coast elite. You are a San Francisco West Coast elite at a time when that is the very type of person that middle American working class people, especially men,
cannot relate to,
cannot stand, have nothing in common with, and despise, just as they despise people who go to McDonald's.
So there you have it. What else would you expect from the communist Kamala Harris? She is an absolute disgrace. You can't even ask her questions at her own town hall. Tells you all you need to know. Trump is the only answer. Trump 2024.